Do you want to achieve sustainable weight loss in a healthy way, but have trouble taking action or even starting because deep down you just doubt that you have what it takes to be successful? Maybe you're wanting to join the coaching program, but you wonder if you can do it. Maybe you've lost weight and gained it back so many times that you don't trust yourself anymore. Or maybe you're afraid to start because of failing again, and that just feels too painful to face. That voice in your head may be saying, "You'll never stick with it. You don't have the willpower. You always quit." And after enough of those broken promises, it's easy to start believing those thoughts. But listen, self doubt doesn't mean that you can't do it or that you're weak. It just means that you have a human brain that wants to avoid pain and conserve energy because you are standing on the edge of growth. And that is your brain's job to protect you. So if you've ever felt paralyzed by fear, stuck in your own head, or like you've lost faith in yourself, today's episode is for you because I'm going to show you why self doubt shows up and how to move through it with faith, courage, and confidence so that you can create the life that you dream about. This is episode 218 of the Healthy Real Food Podcast: How to Overcome Self Doubt on Your Weight Loss Journey. This is the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation, experiencing the miracle of sustainable weight loss with the sugar and flour-free lifestyle. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here, we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So, if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Hey, my friend, welcome back. Fall is officially here and the holidays are coming. What a perfect time to get support so you can start to focus on your health journey. So I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Today's topic is all about overcoming self doubt. Lately, in several conversations I've had, one of the themes that keeps coming up over and over again is fear of failure. So today I wanted to create a podcast that speaks directly to those of you who feel stuck in self-doubt, those who want to change but can't seem to move forward because the inner voice keeps whispering, "You've tried to lose weight before and it didn't work. Why would this time be any different?" Maybe you've tried countless diets or programs like I had before I started this. Maybe you've lost weight only to gain it back, or maybe you've been too afraid to even start again. So if that sounds like you are exactly who I recorded this episode for. When I started my own health journey back in 2020 at 284 pounds, I didn't believe in myself either. Many of us start this journey without confidence, and that's okay because confidence doesn't come first. Confidence comes from experience. And I want to share an example from another part of my life where I battled self doubt, and it's in my business. So, back in 2021, after losing over 100 pounds and experiencing my extraordinary transformation with my health, and experiencing transformation in every area of my life because of my transformation with my health, my energy, my relationships. I felt so called to help other women who are struggling like I had, but to really make the impact I knew I wanted to make in the world and that I felt called to make. I knew it would take all of my focus and energy. At the time, I was working as a registered nurse at the bedside. And because of a prompting from the Spirit, from God, I made the bold decision to shift my career from nursing to becoming a full-time health coach. And that meant starting my own business, which I had no clue how to do. I didn't know anything about marketing, social media, sales, or building a website. But I had vision and a deep reason why, which was a desire to help women to break free from food addiction and reclaim their lives. And that purpose gave me the courage to take the next step and figure things out as I went. So even now, after 4 years of being in my business, I still have moments of self doubt. Just today, actually, on a mastermind call with other business owners, I have found myself comparing my results to theirs. And that little voice of discouragement crept in. Like, why am I not as successful as other people? But here's the difference between then and now. When I hear that voice in my head, when I hear that little whisper of discouragement, I don't let that voice run the show anymore. When I started my business, I felt so paralyzed by fear, but the turning point for me came when I realized that my mission matters more than my fear. I want to help women who are struggling just like I was. It's part of my life's purpose, and that purpose keeps me going even when self-doubt tries to slow me down. And I learned that skill of overcoming the self-doubt that creeps in every now and then from my health journey, from the fear that I had when I started my health journey at 284 pounds. I tried it all. I tried Weight Watchers, Noom, My Fitness Pal, Body for Life. I felt like I had tried and failed so many times before. I struggled with all or nothing thinking and perfectionism, just like we all do. But when I allowed my deep why to become louder than the voice in my head of self doubt, that is when my life changed forever. That is what helped me to achieve extraordinary success with my health goals. And it's what's helping me to overcome the self doubt that I feel as I grow my business. To be successful at any goal, whether it's weight loss, business, or any personal development, you have to stop stopping. Success comes from mastering your mindset, developing a winning strategy, and consistently executing that strategy. That is the success framework. And when you incorporate those three pillars of success, anything is possible for you. But you have to take action, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when you're feeling fear and self doubt. It's normal. You just can't allow that to stop you. So, when you face setbacks or when you make mistakes, you just have to remember that there is no such thing as failure if you focus on the process and develop a mindset of unstoppability. Always remember that with God, all things are possible, and you can do this. You can be successful at achieving your health goals, I promise. Let's talk about why self doubt even shows up in the first place. So, self doubt is not a flaw, it's actually a protective mechanism. Your brain is wired to keep you safe and comfortable. The amygdala, the part of your brain that detects danger, it doesn't just respond to physical threats, it also responds to emotional ones like rejection, embarrassment, or failure, and even potential threats that haven't even happened yet or never will. So, when you think about trying something new, like changing your eating habits or stepping out of your comfort zone, your brain is sounding an alarm like, this feels risky. Let's just stay where it's safe. Let's stay where we are. But my guess is that if you're watching this podcast, you don't want to stay where you are. When the pain of staying where you are becomes worse than the pain of making that change, that's when we can get ourselves to take action. So that's why self doubt often leads to avoidance. You might see yourself procrastinating, overthinking, or talking yourself out of taking action, not even trying, right? But here's the reframe is that self doubt isn't a sign of weakness. It's just the sign that you're growing beyond your comfort zone. And it means that you're stepping into something that matters. For many women over 40, self doubt has really deep roots. So maybe it comes from past failures or years of dieting and regaining. You might think, oh, I've tried it all, nothing works for me. Or maybe it's from comparison to other women or even to a past version of yourself. It can also come from perfectionism, that fear of not doing it right, or thinking if you can't do it perfectly, you shouldn't even do it at all. And that is what is going to keep you stuck. And one of the biggest roots is lack of self trust. So, after years of breaking promises to yourself, your brain no longer believes that you're going to follow through. This is when you have to master your mindset. So, until you shift your mindset, no amount of strategy or execution can override that inner voice of doubt. But when you learn to see self doubt for what it really is, it's just a thought trying to protect you. You can move forward anyway. Instead of listening to ourselves, we have to learn to talk to ourselves. And honestly, if you don't try, of course, you won't succeed. It becomes self-fulfilling. So staying safe isn't actually safe. It's keeping you stuck where you are. So how do you move from self-doubt to self-trust? It all starts with understanding that confidence doesn't come first. It comes from taking action. Self trust is built through experience, not affirmation. And what I mean by that is that you can't just think your way into confidence, you have to act your way there. And we build confidence by taking action and watching our own behavior, making and keeping promises to ourselves. So here's what I like to call the confidence loop. First comes action, and then evidence, and then belief, and then the confidence. And then that leads to more action. So it all starts by taking action. You take a small action, and that creates some momentum and evidence that you can do it. That evidence builds and strengthens your belief. And that belief builds your confidence. And then that confidence fuels more action and more momentum. So over time, you build a solid foundation of self trust. If you don't trust yourself right now, it just means that you have to start taking action and making and keeping promises to yourself. So I've seen this happen again and again with my clients. They didn't rebuild trust in themselves by being perfect, right? They rebuilt it by showing up consistently, from learning from setbacks, by being kind to themselves when they did fall short, and making those into learning opportunities. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress over perfection. And when you stop stopping, you prove to yourself that you can do it, that you can keep going. As the author Susie Chasm says, she said, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. James Clear reminds us confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. And from my faith perspective, I believe that God places desires in our heart for a reason. The dreams that you have to be healthy, to feel confident, to live free from food addiction, that is a divine invitation for you to grow. Here are 5 practical steps to help you to start overcoming self doubt today. First, you want to acknowledge the voice. Notice the thoughts that you have without judgment. When that inner critic says, you can't do this, you just respond. You learn to talk to yourself instead of listening to yourself. Like, oh, that's self-doubt talking again, right? And that awareness can bring so much power. Secondly, is naming the fear. So ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid will happen if I try and fail again? So often just naming the fear and talking about it helps it to shrink. Third, collect evidence for success. So write down your past wins, moments where you did show up, where you have been successful, where you've made progress or got back up after falling down. So this ties into what I teach about the gap in the game. So instead of focusing on how far you have to go, measure your progress backward by focusing on how far you've come. Number 4, take small aligned actions. So, action creates momentum. Waiting to feel ready is going to keep you stuck where you are. Confidence follows action, it's not the other way around. And then number 5, anchor to your future self. So, visualize the version of you who has already overcome this doubt. What would be possible for you if this doubt never existed? Ask, What would she do today? Step into that future version of yourself, the best possible outcome in a year or 2 or 3 when you are at your goal, and ask yourself, what would she do today? Who do I need to become? How can I act like the future version of myself that's healthy and confident? And then you just take one small step in that direction. It's like this huge, more metaphorical mountain in front of you that can feel so overwhelming and paralyzing. I totally get it. I remember feeling exactly the same way. You have to have the vision of where you're going. That's really important. You have to believe that it's possible, but then you have to just look down at your feet and take the next step. Step by step, you start building your confidence. Step by step, you start making progress and momentum. And then before you know it, you look back and you can see how far you've come. Self doubt often comes roaring back when progress slows down, or when you start comparing yourself to others, or when you slip up and make a mistake. But remember, stopping. Comparison is the thief of joy. The only person that you should compare yourself to is who you were 6 months ago. And when setbacks happen, because they always do, and it's part of the success path, that resistance is part of the process of transformation. We just have to reframe it. Instead of saying, I failed, we just say that this is data. I'm going to learn from this. And then asking compassionate and curious questions to ourselves. Like, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust my strategy for when I'm in this situation next time? So that progress isn't linear. It's made up of thousands of course corrections. So, like an airplane flying to Hawaii, pilots say when they're in the air that 80% of the time they're off course, but they can land on a dime 3,000 miles away because they're constantly course correcting. So, if you are a person that is experiencing self doubt, if you don't have confidence in yourself about your health journey, about your ability to be successful with your health goals, nothing has gone wrong. You have a human brain. And here's the truth: self doubt doesn't disappear, it just becomes a signal that you're growing. And when you can think of it as that, then you have power over it. Then you can create the life that you want for yourself. So it's part of being human to lack confidence, to have self doubt. But if you listen to that voice in your head, if you listen to it, it will keep you from becoming who you're meant to be, who it's possible for you to become. You don't need to be fearless to take action. You just need faith that you'll figure it out along the way, and faith that God will help you. I believe so much in the power that God has to help us with our health goals. When I started my health journey at 284 pounds, sorry, it's making me a little emotional remembering this. I just remember the lack of self confidence that I had, the doubt, the fear. I know how hard it is to experience that. But one thing that helped me so much was that I put a scripture on my fridge that I read every day. Let me pull it up here. It says, as to my strength, I am weak. Therefore, I will not boast of myself, but I will boast of my God. For in his strength, I can do all things. So let's recap. Self doubt is normal. It means that you're human, it means you're growing. Confidence is built through evidence, not waiting to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready to start. Confidence comes through experience, through taking action. And the best way to silence self doubt is to take one small action your future self would thank you for. You don't have to have it all figured out, you just have to start. You can do this. You can create the life that you want for yourself. And I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. I'm so grateful to have you here in my world with me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope that it's encouraged you, and I want you to know that I believe in you. So, if this episode has helped you today, please share it with a friend who needs a reminder that she's capable and worthy of her goals. And if you're ready to start building your self trust and momentum again, and you're struggling with self doubt, I would love to help you. Go ahead and sign up for a free coaching call on my website. I have a link to my schedule. And just remember, with God, all things are possible. There were times on my journey where I just felt there was no way. I had such a strong food thought or urge or craving. And I just remember taking that moment, going into my room, kneeling down, saying a prayer, asking God to help me, to strengthen me, to take away the urge, the craving. And in those moments, I always received help. I always did. That is what has saved me so many times when I was struggling during this process of transformation. Ask God to help you, ask him to strengthen you when you're feeling weak, when you're wanting to quit, when you're wanting to give up. Don't. You can do this. And when you master your mindset and consistently execute a winning strategy with an abundance of patience, anything is possible for you. So go and do the next right thing. You got this. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling with your sugar and flour-free lifestyle and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the upcoming free challenge to learn the success framework. And click the link to my schedule for a free one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.